Hi, welcome back, and today is the day number 11. So let's see the ink of the Inkvent calendar for today. Here it is next to 24 and above 25, and this doesn't matter, but let's see what is inside the door or window number 11. And here we have a green ink, nice. I like greens. I think some of my favorite colors are blacks, brown and green, so it's nice. And this is called Elf, and it is a standard ink. So, as I did before, I will ink a pen with this ink, and I'll be back in a moment to show you. Bye. And here we are again with our ink. So, this Elf ink is green. I would say it is a open green, a real green, not a dark or too bright. It's quite hard to describe it, but I will compare it with the others in a minute. And I chose to go with this pen, with this ink, this little pen. And this is a Parker Junior Duofold fountain pen. This is a very old pen. I think from the 20s, 1920s, so it is almost 100 years old, and it is in very bad shape. It is highly discolored on the cap and on the barrel. Even the hard rubber is oxidized and with no color. I've highlighted these a long time ago. It has cracks around the cap. It is in a very bad shape. The tines are not really well aligned. And I've been saying that I'll do this one day, but I never did. I think you can see they are not perfectly aligned. And even the nib, this is complete disaster, this pen, even the nib has there a crack that goes down the breather hole. You can see it like if it was a continuation of the slit. So this pen is in very bad shape, but I have to say that I like it. I have it for a long time, and it is a quite wet pen, and I enjoy it. But okay, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about green. So let's dive into the review of this ink. And if you like the videos I usually make, please don't forget to subscribe the channel. Now, let's look first at the chromatography. And what we have here no water resistance at all, and all the colors go up there without leaving almost any residue behind. And let's see it closer. You can see there is the yellow part, then a blue part, and where they merge together it forms green. So we have green and yellow pigments that travel further because they are not water resistant. Now let me show it next to some other green inks. And we have here the Monte Grappa green and also the Parker Quink green. And this ink is, I would say, right in the middle of those two. This is a quite open green, and I think this is somehow comparable but with a warmer tone. And now let's see how it looks next to this one. This is the Mistletoe, the ink for day 7, and let's put it here. You can see this one is a very much darker green, like a moss green, and this is a brighter one. I have to say that I prefer this one, but I also like this kind of greens. But this is more beautiful in my opinion. And when we look at their chromatographies, what do we see? Let's put them. This is not any comparison, but just for you to check it. We have the same pigments, I would say. Here the yellow seems a little bit darker, but then you have a darker gray basis to the Mistletoe that you don't have on the Elf. And this one has no water resistance at all, and this one has some with this gray part. So this is the comparison with both these inks. So this is the second green ink of this Inkvent calendar. Let's put these all aside and let's go for the writing samples. And all these were written with this pen as usual. I always use one pen to write all these writing samples in different papers, and then I show you. And here we have the Moleskine paper, the Oxford Optic paper, and then the Navigator copy paper. And what do we see? We see that in Moleskine or on Moleskine paper, the line spread a lot, and you can see it also feathers through some paper fibers. But as I usually say, this is not an ink problem, it's more like a problem of Moleskine paper. And there is a lot of bleed through, more than in other Inkvent inks that I've reviewed so far. Here it is the Oxford paper, which is a paper that usually has no trouble keeping up. This is a pen that has some shading. You can go for a lighter green to a much darker green in some places where more ink was put down on paper. And here you don't see any ghosting or bleeding through or anything like that. And then finally you have the Navigator, which has a line that is a little thicker than on the optic paper and less thick than on Moleskine, because Moleskine is more absorbent. But you can see here, you also can see some shading, although where you can see better the shading is on the Oxford. There you can see there are places where the ink goes to a very dark green, and here on the Moleskine you can see almost any shading. It looks like very flat. That's why Moleskine is not all that fountain pen friendly. And on regular copy paper it also bleeds through. So a part of it is also the ink. And then let's go to the Rhodia dot pad. And in the Rhodia paper we have no bleed through, nothing. It's also well behaved and it looks great. I think the Rhodia paper is somehow very comparable with the Oxford paper, although the colors tend to open, I don't know if I can say that, open more on the Oxford paper than on the Rhodia. Here I tested the drying time. It takes a lot of time to dry. I had it going to 45 seconds and it wasn't still dry, although this pen is quite wet. And then you have the water resistance test with no water resistance, where the drops of ink fell down and I left them for a few minutes and then I just absorbed the excess water with a paper tissue. No ink was left. So this is not resistant at all to water, as we may have seen there in the chromatography. And now let's go for our famous phrase that I didn't usually use on my pen reviews, but I'm using on my ink reviews, and so many days I've been using it now. And it is the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And you see, this is why, because of all this flex thing and the way this pen writes, that I don't care it is all that damaged. It is a very old pen, and I mean, it's not a collectible pen. It's just like a daily user pen, and it is in bad shape, but I like it. I like the way the nib performs, even though it's not perfectly aligned, even though it has a crack. This is a great pen. So, this is all that I had to show you. What do you think about this green? Do you like this green better, or do you prefer the other one? I put this on paper and I think it may have smeared. No. Which one do you prefer? The elf or the mistletoe? Which one do you think it's nicer? and which one do you think you can find out there, or is there one that you'd like to be a regular edition from Diamine? These are all the questions that I leave you on the comments. Your answers to my comments or your answers in the comments have been very interesting through all these videos, and I'm taking a lot of information from there. And this is all for today. Hope you liked it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be back tomorrow. Bye.